Coming up on today's episode, you believe that at the end of the day, relationships come to an end, romantic relationships come to an end, they will abandon me. If you have that belief to the core in your mind, your actions will display this. You will not fully commit to a relationship, you will not fully be open and vulnerable in the relationship, you will not fully try and support and make sure the relationship lasts. So when it does end, you then feel validated in your belief that things come to an end and people abandon me. But they left because you weren't a good person in the relationship. You didn't put effort in the relationship. You behaved in a way that suited the narrative you have created in your mind. Mental discipline is not about being positive all the time, it's about awareness, catching your thoughts in the moment and deciding whether they deserve to stay. Hi, this is Notes with Namfundo. I want to say this plainly. Everything begins in the mind, which means what you're experiencing right now didn't start outside. It started with you. Not some things, everything. Before anything shows up in your life physically, existed as a thought, a belief, or a mental pattern that you repeated long enough for it to take shape. See, most people think thoughts are random, but they're not. Your mind has been trained, conditioned. You've been thinking in certain ways for so long that now it feels natural. Like that's just who you are when it's not who you are. It's what you've practiced. Your upbringing, societal pressures, societal expectations, traditions, traumas, bro, everything in life, many other things, it all shaped your thoughts. So when life starts reflecting those same patterns back to you, you call it a coincidence, bad luck, bad timing, but it's not random. It's not all of those things. It's consistent. And this is where it gets uncomfortable because if everything begins in the mind, then you have to take responsibility for the fact that you've created this internal world. Your dominant thoughts, your quiet beliefs, the things you repeat to yourself without even noticing. Your mind is not just thinking, it's creating constantly. Now, here's where it gets tricky and people go wrong. They think one positive thought is enough to change everything when it's not. The law of mentality doesn't respond to random thoughts, it responds to repeated ones. Repetition is what creates power. The thoughts you think over and over again start forming patterns, and those patterns become your default way of seeing the world. If you keep thinking that things don't work out for you, your mind will start proving that to you. Not because it's true, but because your mind is consistent. It filters your reality to match what you already believe. You begin to search for the scenarios to match your internal belief or thoughts. That's how patterns become identity and identity becomes experience. So let's say someone keeps thinking, things never work out for me. They don't think it once, they don't think it twice, they think it repeatedly every single day for years on end or months on end. Over time, that stops being just simply a thought. It becomes how you see everything. So when an opportunity shows up, you'll hesitate. I mean, in the back of your mind, you have things never work out for me. So you second guess, you don't fully commit, and then it doesn't work out. And what do you do immediately? You immediately say, see, I was right. Things never work out for me. You're validated in your belief now. But it's not that things didn't work out, it's that their patterns shaped how they showed up and which shaped the result. So, because you already thought that things will never work out, you then adjusted your behavior and you didn't put or you didn't fully commit to what you were doing. You already second guessed every decision you were making when you were doing it. So, because you didn't put your best foot forward, things didn't work out. It didn't work out because you thought it and it's true for you. It didn't work out because you did not put in the effort due to what you thought of yourself. And these can be put into many other scenarios. I think another example would be in relationships. The belief of everybody will abandon me. Let's talk romantic relationships. You believe that at the end of the day, relationships come to an end, romantic relationships come to an end, they will abandon me. If you have that belief to the core in your mind, your actions will display this. You will not fully commit to a relationship. You will not fully be open and vulnerable in the relationship. You will not fully try and support and make sure the relationship lasts. So when it does end, you then feel validated in your belief that things come to an end and people abandon me. But they left because you weren't a good person in the relationship. You didn't put effort in the relationship. You behaved in a way that suited the narrative you have created in your mind. You search for scenarios to validate your own negative thinking. That's why I believe in using a gratitude journal at the end of every day, in the evening before bed, or you do prayers before bed, but before that, you write three things you're grateful for in the day. Simple things. It can be as simple as I petted my dog. I enjoyed a lovely cup of tea. I made a lovely dinner for my mom. Three things. What then happens each time you do that is each day you live, you will seek those small, beautiful, grateful things. You will seek positive things. Therefore, you will only see positive things. That's why you will then be able to see better opportunities for yourself. That's what I think, that's what the whole mantra, the whole what's it called, manifestation thing has to do with. If you want a job and you're thinking about a job, you keep calling for a job, you end up doing actions that will bring such a job to you, because it's the thoughts in your mind. That's why everything starts in the mind. So instead of trying to force one big positive thought, start paying attention to what you repeat daily. The quiet thoughts, the automatic ones, the ones that feel like facts. Because whatever you repeat, you reinforce. And whatever you reinforce eventually becomes your reality, as I explained in the examples. And this is why most people feel stuck. If we're being honest, you're not stuck. You're focused, but not in ways that are helping you. You've been focusing on the same things long enough that it feels like reality instead of repetition. So, whatever you focus on, you give energy to, and whatever you give energy to grows. If your attention is constantly on what's not working, what's missing, or what's going wrong, it becomes your dominant experience. That being, there is something not working, something missing, something wrong. Your mind doesn't separate observation from obsession. So, if you keep replaying a problem, if you keep analyzing it, if you keep stressing over it, your mind reads that it's important. So it keeps bringing more of it into your awareness. It will then bring other situations similar to that theme for it to validate it. So that's why two people can be in the same situation and experience it completely different. One is focused on the limitations, while the other is focused on movement, progression, positive. Same reality, different focus. So the shift is not changing everything overnight. It's becoming aware of where your attention goes every day, because that's what's shaping your life. And once you become aware, you realize something else. Your mind is powerful, but it's not disciplined by default. It will wander. It will assume the worst. It will replay things that don't even matter anymore. Because apparently they say that your mind likes predictability and your mind does not like um how do I put this, it wants to know what's going to happen so it can prepare itself. So you already tense, you're already in survival mode because your mind is constantly trying to figure out what will go wrong, what will happen next, so that it can be prepared. If you don't take control of it, it will start to control you. Mental discipline is not about being positive all the time, it's about awareness, catching your thoughts in the moment and deciding whether they deserve to stay. Because once you notice a thought, you have a choice. Before awareness, you're reacting, and after awareness, you're redirecting. So that's where your power is. You don't need to fight your mind, you need to lead it. Because if you don't, it will lead you somewhere you didn't choose. Because if everything begins in the mind, then change doesn't start out there. It starts with what you allow to repeat in your head. This is Notes with No Fundo. Sit with that.